So, but he is your star. You do need to make sure he's happy. But I think he'll be happy, getting fully back. And that's the most important thing. And that's, what you tell him is, I want you 100%. I don't want to risk you at 90. I want you to be at 100%, and that's when you come back, and that's when we start winning again.
I think Kawhi doing what he's doing is good for future NBA players. To say, listen, you can be a star and take time off if you need to get yourself right. Because you'll be playing this game for 10 years.
Well, what I think the issue between Kawhi and the Spurs is, I don't think he trusts their doctors, because they've screwed him over a couple of times in the past. They brought him back too early and he got hurt again. So I think he's saying, no, I'm not ready to come back. I need more time to rehab this injury. And I think that's where all of this started from. And I think from there it's just kind of snowballed to the point where now there's actually some legitimacy, because he's like, hang on, what are my options? Because, this has caused a rift. And it's not between him and his teammates, and I don't think it's between him and coach.
It's front office.
I think it's him and the doctors, and because of that, some of the front office.
Well, you know why, right? Because without Kawhi Leonard, what is there to go see a Spurs game for?
Right.
And I mean, I know that
there's no
selling
Tim
out
Duncan
the
anymore. So.
Selling out the stadium is nothing compared to the money they get from the TV deal. But if you are possible for flex time games, why are they going to show a starless team on TV? They're not. They're going to put, if it's between, let's say, the Spurs and the Jazz, or the Bucks and the Knicks, what game are you going to put on? You put on the Unicorn versus the Greek Freak instead of, a team that's relying on a rookie to lead them, and a team whose star, hasn't played all season and probably won't play at all. So, I mean, the problem that I see with the Knicks is just history. Having been a Knicks fan for a long time, they mess this up. That's what they do. That's what they do. I'm hopeful that seeing Kawhi Leonard sit out, the Knicks are like, do you see what he's doing? I want you to do that.
Yeah.
I want you to do what he is doing. I don't want you on the court in an NBA game. We can sign you to a two-way contract, and you can, suit up towards the end if you're feeling okay. But if you're going to play any games, it's going to be in the G League, where you're going to be the MVP.
Yeah. And if I'm KP, if the Knicks start trying to push me back and I don't feel I'm ready, I have serious doubts about re-signing with them, because you are not at all in a winning position, and at that point, it's foolhardy to try and bring him back for no reason, because the Knicks' goal should be top 5, top 3 pick this season. Without KP, the Knicks are bad. And there's not going to be O'Quinn next season.
With KP, the Knicks are bad.
With KP, the Knicks are
not horrible,
watchable. But there's not going to be O'Quinn next season. There might not be Cantor next season. There's not going to be Courtney Lee next season.
Oh, I like Courtney Lee a lot.
I do too, but he's not right for what the Knicks need, which is to be bad, get that top pick, and that's when you start building. I think 2020, if the Knicks play this right, could be really interesting.
I don't want the Knicks to tank, though. Just legitimately
they're gonna be legitimately shitty. And I think at that point, might as well try and lose, those couple of games at the end of the season to get, from 5 to 3 or whatever. I hope Tankathon's not as serious as it was this season.
If it's
Knicks are going to be worse than they were at the end of this season. That's how they're going to be worse.
If it's literally like last 5 games of the season, and you're within a couple losses of a better pick, and your season is shot, I'm fine.
I think the season's shot
with the quote unquote tanking
this year.
Yeah, because first of all, I have a different mindset. That's not tanking. That's just making sure your stars don't get hurt. No reason to have your stars get hurt last 5 games of a meaningless season. Absolutely no reason. So pull them. Second of all,
Rudy Gobert just got mauled.
Yeah.
And just no foul call.
It's because James Harden wears his shirt open so you see his chest. Remember that commercial? But I don't want to see Kristaps Porzingis come back this season because I don't want him to re-aggravate. I don't, like I said, with the bigger players, I definitely don't like the leg injuries, especially knees. I know it's not as bad as it used to be, but I still have
it's a
issues
legitimate worry.
Yeah, with Yao Ming.
Yeah. It is worrisome. 7'3", any kind of lower body injury is always scary. But I it's again cautious optimism.
All right, so I think we've exhausted the Knicks almost as much as they exhaust us. You ready to move on?
Yeah, let's. What do we want to talk about? NHL?
Oh, we'll talk about that in just a minute.
Okay.
Usually, this will be the point where we would do the Lonzo Ball 2017-2018 NBA MVP update, but we've conceded the fact that he's not going to be the MVP. So we're going to move on to bigger and better things.
Have you?
What?
Have you conceded that?
So because the NBA MVP update, Lonzo Ball update, was so monumental, so wonderful, I've come up with 2 things to take its place.
Oh boy.
All right, so the first one, we're just going to get right into it. On April 26, 2018, Baker Mayfield became the first ever player to be drafted to the NFL after 2017. And that is why Baker Mayfield will be your 2018-2019 NFL MVP.
Oh God.
Baker Mayfield for NFL MVP. All right, can we all agree he's going to be the MVP? Yeah? Yeah.
Sure, why not?
All right. The other thing I think is going to be one that's a little more fun and interactive.
He'll definitely be more watchable.
Oh my God. What are you talking about? Pretending to throw your semen at Kansas players?
Oh,
How's that not watchable?
I mean, maybe he'll actually get the Browns a win.
Oh, perhaps. Perhaps. But the Browns are called the Browns for a reason.
Right.
The other thing that we're going to start doing, I'm going to scour the Twitter for the best sports tweets of the week. It can be something that I find hilarious, or something that I find depressing, or something that hits me on a personal level. So this week I've got 4 different things. Some of them are funny, most of them are funny. First one, Montreal Canadiens tweeted, without naming names, just a reminder that licking is frowned upon on the golf course as well. To which Brad Marchand replied, funny, ... throwing shade when you were out of the playoff race since October. I know you love him. Oh. But that's hilarious.
Do you?
Uh-huh. For those of you who watch WWE, the Greatest Royal Rumble was, 2 weeks ago now?
Yep.
2 weeks ago at the pay-per-view, the Greatest Royal Rumble.
On a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, on a Friday afternoon from Saudi Arabia. 50-man Royal Rumble happened. Entrant number 48 was Titus O'Neil. Mm-hmm. Blake Bortles Facts, the Twitter, which if you're not following them, they are hilarious. I love them. So funny. And the guy who runs it is a St. Rose graduate. So he's got a local connection.
Good to know.
Blake Bortles Facts tweeted, Blake Bortles has never slipped when running onto the field, and then tagged Titus O'Neil, who slipped and slid under the ring as he was trying to enter the Greatest Royal Rumble. Tagged him in the tweet.
That's hilarious.
He tripped over a cord.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like sitting right there.
He slipped and literally went under the ring. That's how oiled up he was.
Lucky there was nothing under the ring he could have...
Yeah, Kane's under there sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Kane, WWE wrestler Kane, real name Glenn Jacobs, is about to be a mayor of an entire county in Tennessee. Not just a city, a county. So that's awesome. This next tweet is going to hit us on a personal level. At Sean PM 407 tweeted, "The only thing I want from David Fizdale with the hashtag Knicks is to settle on a starting five and a consistent rotation. So sick of coaches playing around with lineups and rotations throughout the season." Literally echoing what we had said.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we have much more to say about that. And our final tweet is actually a series of tweets from none other than Jarvis Landry, the new Cleveland Browns wide receiver. He tweeted, "Y'all better get at King James out of Toronto. Hashtag heat check." He followed that up moments later with, "Drake about to leave." He finished a trio of tweets with LeBronto at King James.
Lovely.
Oh man, I'm just gonna tell you now. I'm probably gonna get most of our material in the future from Joel Embiid and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Perfect.
Because they are glorious on Twitter. If you haven't heard or read anything they do, Juju Smith-Schuster, his best tweet by far has been to Mia Khalifa saying that he might be young but he's not stupid when she tried to message him. He knows what's up.
Nope.
All right, so now it is time for National Hockey League. First round, Predators, Avalanche, kind of boring. Avalanche looked like they had no business playing hockey. The Jets, again, they played the Wild. You know, Wild were competitive in the beginning.
Yeah, and then the Jets just dominated them.
Yeah, at least one Jets team is good.
Yeah, it's a nice change.
The Golden Knights beat the Kings. Vegas, like what's going on? Like they must have like the most ultimate home ice. Like that must be true. What they were saying, that teams are going to be just awed by Vegas and then show up to the game and they're going to be drunk or whatever, what have you, or they're just in the clubs until like 10 minutes before game time and they don't get to warm up. But whatever they're doing, I seriously hope the Raiders don't replicate when they move to Vegas. Golden Knights beat the Kings, and the Sharks beat the Ducks. The Ducks, they've been irrelevant for a long time now. The Sharks, a very good team.
Yeah, the Ducks start getting dirty at the end of that series, which I didn't really like.
What do you expect from the team that had Chris Pronger for so long?
Yeah, that's true. I guess he had an influence.
Still does, apparently.
Yeah.
None of those were particularly good series.
Yeah, Penguins Flyers was pretty fun. Flyers, pretty good. Really fought the Penguins for a few games there.
And then the Penguins realized, we can score 10 on them.
Yeah. Flyers, though, I think are a team that we'll see more of. They're a team that's on the rise, unfortunately, since I'm a Rangers fan and I don't like the Flyers. I hate the Penguins more, though, so...
we'll get to them in just a minute.
Yep. That was a pretty fun first series.
I mean, the best first series was Bruins Maple Leafs.
Yeah, that was back and forth. The Maple Leafs could have easily taken that. That was really...
I thought they were going to.
Yeah, it was really even. Another fun one was Blue Jackets Capitals. Looked like the Blue Jackets were gonna.
They were my pick to come out of the East. Remember?
Yeah. Capitals turned it around and have since been doing very well.
And then we have Lightning Devils, which was a joke of a series.
Yeah, that was not very close.
No, and I've actually stopped calling them the Lightning. They're the Tampa Bay Rangers.
Tampa Bay Rangers.
I think you had said that a while ago, and it stuck with me because
yeah,
literally the
Girardi, JT Miller, Callahan.
There was literally there was a goal that the Lightning had against the Bruins in the second round, where it was literally Callahan scored, and the two assists were Miller and Girardi.
Yeah. And it's like,